Alright, we are back. Sorry it took a while. Had to upload the previous video before I could start this video. Okay. Let's wait for Lee Esher to come back. Hey, sorry it took a while. I had to upload the previous video before coming back to this video.
Daphne's back. Javier's back.
Yes, let's count them.
Rick is back. Tim and Kelvin are back. Anson Chen is in the room.
Hello.
Yeah, man. This is it's been nice. All right, so where were we?
We were talking about your journey with Fournier.
So yeah, like I said, I chose them because they really are into quality. They use some super high quality raw materials. Their printing process, while old world, is still digital and still new. They're an ISO 9001 company, so like they have specific regiments they have to go through for quality control. Yeah, and then Lloyd's of London, believe it or not, it's crazy. Lloyd's of London insures the cards. So anytime like there's bad cards, there was a factory error, which happens. I mean, it's a factory. I will take the decks. I'll send them back to Fournier, and Fournier will deal with it, and it's great. I mean, they've been a fabulous company to work with, and yes, they were bought out by Cartamundi, so now it's under Cartamundi's reign, which is pretty cool.
And you are still selling them, right? And
yeah, the few that I have left. Like once it's out, I probably won't reprint a 605 anymore, only because I think that they used to get their paper from a French company, and that French company is no longer. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to make the 605s exactly the way that I wanted to make them as previous. So maybe it's just time to do something else, something new. I don't know yet. I'll see where the wind takes me.
With the
there's
new,
plenty of
Cartamundi.
Yeah, there are plenty of other companies to go play with. We had talked about a lot of the printers in China, and I find that extremely exciting. And so yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cartamundi had the same issue with the paper cardstock. Yeah, I think it might be the same company then.
Yeah, our Joe Wiggins was the French company. Yeah, maybe I haven't worked with Cartamundi on that level, so I don't know where they're purchasing their paper. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of a blow to the playing card industry when that French company closed. I was hoping that Cartamundi would have bought them out, but that did not happen. That did not happen.
Okay, maybe let's choose another question. Let's talk.
All right, let's do it.
This is interesting. I'm not sure if you've tried it before. So can you do?
Yeah, some of the moves. I don't think the last move we could probably pull off with a jumbo card. Now you're talking about a jumbo-sized card, not a jumbo-indexed card, correct?
It should be a jumbo-sized one, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure we could probably, work through it. It wouldn't look pretty, but we could probably work through it.
Okay.
So I see a question. I see Ali's asking a question.
Okay.
Do I think the card community is being overwhelmed with decks? And I think a lot of people have that same question. It seems that way, doesn't it? But I don't think so. A lot of the comparisons that get made are to like the baseball card world, right, and the basketball card world. And there was an extreme bubble that popped in those worlds a couple of years ago to basically devaluing all of those cards. So if you bought baseball cards or basketball cards from the 90s, they're not worth the paper they're printed on. And so yeah, I mean, I can understand people's concern. I can understand people fearing that might happen in the playing card world, and maybe, but I don't think we are even remotely close to that. You have to think about like Topps. Topps is a company that prints a lot of these baseball cards, and they were printing over 1 billion cards a year.
Wow.
There is no playing card manufacturer that is printing 1 billion decks a year. Not even Yaoji King brand. And so just from a scale numbered standpoint, we're not even close, guys. And again, it might look like there's all these decks, and there's tons of decks coming out, right? But you go on Kickstarter, right? There's 600 decks on Kickstarter. Not all of them are going to be funded, right? So, it's not like we have 600 new decks. We're only going to probably see maybe 200 or 300 of those 600 decks. And
Yep.
so what's really beautiful, I think, about a place like Kickstarter, I mean, it's innovative in itself,
Mm.
is that the crowd gets to decide. The crowd gets to say, hey, yeah, we like this, or hey, no, we don't like this. And so, I mean, it's a wonderful way for the market to kind of make decisions, right? Like, yeah, we like it, let's make it. No, we don't like it, don't make it. And
Yeah.
so basically what that means is we're only making cards that people want. And so, like I say, it might feel like there's all these cards coming out and it's too much, but the truth is, no. They're catering to specific needs to specific groups, right? Like that's like the pink Jerry's Nugget is catering to a specific group.
Yep.
And the moment you start to look at it that way and realize like that, you'll understand that we're not really in that kind of bubble, and we've got a long ways to go. So, and I love that we're finding all of these new artists, these graphic designers that are coming into this field, and they're using playing cards as a new medium, right? That's great for us. That's great for them. That's great for their fan base. Like nothing but greatness is happening right now. Talk to me when Cardamundi cranks out 1 billion decks a year, and we'll revisit this conversation.
Yeah. So that definitely say that there's some really good cards on Kickstarter right now.
There's some great decks on Kickstarter, and there's some great artists on Kickstarter, right? Like Kickstarter is absolutely a wonderful place for playing cards. Absolutely wonderful. Like we can chart the explosion of the modern world, right around like. So, I mean, we can technically put numbers to it, but really we start to see the explosion happen with Brad Christian and the Black Tiger deck, right?
Yes.
Like we start to see movement, like real movement. And the next major tick on the radar happens in 2009 when Kickstarter starts. And it took a few years. It took a few years for Kickstarter to really kind of crank up. But man, like 2011, 2012, 2013, Kickstarter's on fire. And now, like I say, we have hundreds of projects that are on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And again, the only ones that are actually being manufactured are the ones that are funded. And so that says to me the market wants that to happen, right? If there was a glut, the market wouldn't want that to happen. So, yeah, there are so many good artists that are so underrated in deck design. Like there's really like, and the funny thing is we know, like we all know a bunch of them because they're very popular for us in our world. But right outside of our world, man, there's like, it's funny how many magicians have no idea who Jackson Robinson or Alexander Chin are, right? And these two are top notch, right? It's very funny how very few people in the magic world have any idea who Uzi is, except these guys are top notch, right? Like these are really incredible, incredible designers. And we're so fortunate to have them playing with playing cards. They could have chosen anything, man. They could have chosen Dixie cup lids. They could have chosen tennis shoes, right?
Yeah.
Like the big hot right now is if you can design tennis shoes. Man, we just saw Jackson Robinson post up a tennis. I don't think he did it. One of his friends did it. But a tennis shoe mock-up with his design.
A custom
Awesome.
shoe, custom, right? I see a lot
Awesome.
of custom skateboards, custom Air Force Ones, Nikes, and all.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, do we poo-poo this? Do we look down upon this? Or do we look at this as like one of the greatest opportunities for our world, right? This is so, when is the last time we had these kinds of artists wanting to create decks for us, right? Beautiful. This is a beautiful time for playing. Like, I want to believe that there's like a golden age for playing cards, and we saw it in about the 1880s, and we're seeing it again right now. Like, we're seeing it again. We're seeing people around the world embracing playing cards in ways that they haven't. And it's fantastic, and I'm seeing names like people love Alex's work and Jackson's work. And there are so many of them. And Alex and Jackson and Uzi and all these guys and Randy Butterfield and Mark Stutzman and Lautrec and Stockholm 17. I mean, we're talking about the top of the top. But you got to think about this. I mean, that's the cream. But there's all these other guys underneath that are, I want to say just as good, but man, they are damn good. And give them time, and they'll move into that position. And this is where it gets exciting for us, right? Like, this is really where it gets exciting.
Ricky Smith is here.
Hey, all right. We can't talk about that anymore. We're done. Sorry, Ricky.
What is one book recommendation that you have? I think Jack is asking.
For what? Are we talking magic? Are we talking business? What are we talking?
Probably magic, yeah.
So you want to learn theory, you want to learn tricks?
I'm not sure if Jack is here. Jack can answer. But if let's say there is one magic book, regardless of theory and tricks or whatever, that you must have in your library, what would you recommend?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I'm a move monkey. I've always been a move monkey. I've always been attracted to technique. So my choice would most likely be something that's heavy in technique. Look, any of the Lorraine stuff is fantastic. Like if that's really like where you're starting, and get yourself a close-up card magic. If you can do all the tricks out of close-up card magic, you're going to be incredible.
Yeah.
You're going to be incredible. And so, you know, I think that that's certainly, I mean, I don't know if that's my first choice, but that's a good choice. Theory-wise, you know, listen, David Stone is a genius. He always has been. He always will be. And so David has the secrets of close-up magic. There's no tricks in there per se. It's all theory, and it's fantastic. And I find myself kind of gravitating back toward that book a lot.
David Stone, close-up, what is it?
The Close-up Secrets of Magic. Henning Nelm's, you know, the Showmanship in Magic is a pretty great book. You know, get through the first 3 chapters of that book and let's talk. You know, like that's some beautiful. There's some beautiful thoughts in these books. I mean, the truth is, there's so much out there, man. You know, it's just what are you naturally attracted to, and what are you specifically trying to accomplish? You know, like that's one of the things. Like when people they want to take some lessons from me, and I do it every once in a while. You know, they say like, okay, what move should I learn? And my question usually response is, well, what do you want to do? You know, like like what's the end result, and then we'll work backwards from that. And so you got to think about like what do you really, I mean, do you really want to learn a new trick, and how many tricks do you already know? So do you want to learn how to utilize those tricks better? And that's when I would suggest moving into like a more theoretical book. But no, if you want to learn more, you know, hardcore sleight of hand, all right, you can get yourself some Arthur Buckley. You know, put your hands on some of that stuff. And if you're into like, you know, easy self-working tricks, then get yourself like all of the Steve Beam stuff, like the semi-automatic stuff. Because there's some really great ideas in all of these books.
Speaking of, you were saying people ask you on what tricks to learn and all, right? Or what they want to achieve. You try to see what they want to achieve, then they work backwards. Is that your creative process in magic as well?
Not always. Not always. Sometimes, you know, like I said in the beginning, like necessity is the mother of invention. And so it's when I realize I have an issue, I have a problem, there's a hole, or there's something that's not working right the way that I think it should work. Then I focus in on that and try to solve that problem, and that's where, you know, the necessity comes in. There are times where accidentally shit just comes out, you know, like that just happens. And, you know, I would say that happens more often than not, believe it or not. Like I wasn't trying to do anything, and then it happens. And then there are times where I have a very clear idea of what I want and a very clear path of how I want to get to where I want. That doesn't happen as much as I'd like it to. And I know there are plenty of people out there that can create that way, and I applaud them. My mind does not work that way. You know, my mind is scattered. It's all over the place. And I'm, you know, like if I'm thinking of an idea here, I'm thinking of 5 over here, and it's a constant. You do not want to be in my head.
That means you are a creative person. That just means you're a creative person.
Sometimes. It means that my mouth can't keep up with my brain sometimes. My brain is spinning in 80 directions, and my mouth is like, what was that one idea? This is why I will, if there's any advice I can offer anyone today, is take notes. Open up your computer. Get on Google Doc or get on Baidu or wherever country you live, there's a cloud version of what I'm talking about. And open up your notes and just write notes. If it's a sentence, I mean, preferably it's more than that. It's more descriptive than that. Because there's plenty of times where I'll go back to my notes and I'll have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't do that. But, you know, like, just take notes, because there's so many ideas that'll come. Especially, you know, there are days where I'm not planning to create a thing. And man, I will drop 15 ideas, bang, 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 like one after the other. And then there are weeks where I go with nothing. So, you know, like, take advantage of the time that it happens and make sure you're taking notes on that. And you'll be better for it.
Good advice. It's lagging here. I'm trying to see the questions. Jason, as I'm looking for a question, I have a question for you. So can you share with us a little bit about your time in China? Because I know you do a lot of magic consulting there. Then there was like a magic show, or was it Magic Apprentice? Was it?
No, I think you're talking about Amazing Magicians.
Yes.
I've been going to China. I've been going to China for about 20 years. On and off.
20.
20. Yep, 20. 2-0. My first time was in Hong Kong, right around the turn of the century.
Mm,
And yeah, like the more times I would go over there, the more interesting it would become for me. You know,
mm,
I've always appreciated Chinese culture, and it's 5,000 years old, man. There's just so much there, and I was very, very lucky to meet certain people over there that kind of helped me along in learning what I wanted to learn and
mm,
doing what I wanted to do. Like I was very inquisitive about some of the history and some of the culture. And I don't know, I mean, the people that know me, they'll know that I'm a big foodie. I love eating food. And my number one food on the planet is Chinese, right? Like I love, and to be very specific, if you want, like we'll get into like I love Szechuan style. I'm a huge fan
oh,
of Guizhou. Like the different provinces offer some of the most beautiful food. And Kelvin's asking me if I speak any Putohua. 对，一点点，一点点. Um, so yeah, the more time I would spend in China, the more I would really come to love it. Like really, like I call it my second home. Like I have spent so much time over there, and I got very lucky a few years ago. I don't know if anyone knows who Joe Deng is, and Joe Deng is he's one of the more influential close-up magicians in China, in mainland, and he's got a set of chops, man. This guy's great, and so I was very fortunate to become friends with him a long time ago, and he was the one that would bring me over,
oh,
and it was fantastic because again he understood that I cared about the food, I cared about the people, I cared about the culture, and
mm,
so he would put me in these situations where I would get to eat new food and I'd get to meet new people and I'd get to learn about new culture and travel to new places. And so, like I say, in about 2017, I get a funny text from him that says, "Hey, I need you in China next week," which is a very tall order, right? Um, the carpenters asked me if it's TCC boss. No, 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 no. Joe Deng is the one who owns the Orange Tree. I don't know if anyone knows the Orange Tree. And so Orange Tree is Joe's and Kelvin from Hong Kong. And so Joe called me up and said, "Hey, I need you in China next week." And I'm like, "Man, I got to get a work visa. I got to get a flight. I mean, this is a week? Really?" And he's like, "Yes, yes, I need you. I need you here for this TV show."
mm,
Okay. And so I go, and the process is not easy. I mean, if you're not from China and you're a foreigner and you have to go to China, you have to get a visa. And going through the visa process is not hard, but it's not easy, and it takes time, and it takes it's a process. And so I immediately started to go through the process because it would take a few days. And by the time I got my visa, like I was getting on a plane, and
mm,
I was only supposed to be there on this trip for 5 weeks, and it turned into 4 months. And it was a TV show. It started off as a very small TV show for Jiangsu Broadcast. Excuse me, my dog is barking. Hey, get out of the kitchen. And it's for China's third largest TV network,
Jiangsu, is
JSBC,
it?
right? And the second big one is Shanghai, and then the big one is CCTV. And
Mm,
so JSBC is the third. And so they were doing a street magic show. And so I
mm,
was brought in to consult on the street magic show. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was a lot of really, really cool talent on this show. And what I started to learn was that there was a much larger magic show that was happening at JSBC, where we were basically designed to get people interested in the bigger show, right? This
okay.
close-up TV show we were doing. And this bigger show, I mean, it was a $50 million production, 12 episodes. Fan Bingbing, I don't know if you're familiar with Fan Bingbing. She's, China's most famous movie actress. Bing Bing was the celebrity judge, and they had guys like Leo Wei and Zhang Xiaogang, and like they had very, very famous people. Yeah, like if you're in mainland, you know these people, you
Mm,
see these
mm,
people on television. And they had Juliana Chen as the magician judge. And so after this small street show, they basically invited Joe's team, and I was part of Joe's team, to now work on the larger show. And
mm.
it was spectacular, man. Like I woke up every day, and I had to solve seriously high pressure problems in very short amount of time, including language barrier. And I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was the most exhilarating 4 months of my professional career. And so like I said, there were 12 episodes, and we got there right before production started. And on episode 5 is when I got the phone call from the executive producer basically saying, "Hey, we'd really like for you to be a judge next to Bing Bing on TV." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And so from episode 7 to 12, I was not only the lead consultant, but I was also a judge. And that was
Also, you were
very
not there for the
surreal.
first few episodes.
No, I was there for all of the episodes. I was just
You,
not a judge in the
yeah, you
first
were not a
six
judge.
episodes.
Yeah,
No,
that's what
I
I
was
meant.
the lead consultant. So like I was behind the camera. I sat in the pit. I sat with the director of photography. I sat with the showrunners. And so like I did the consulting end of it. But on episode 6, I now had to take another responsibility, which was I was going to do all the consulting and all that. But then when we filmed, I'd have to get into costume, put on makeup, and learn lines, and be a judge. And it was very surreal because I would work with acts all week to get them camera ready, and then I judge them on the last day. So I mean, it was spectacular, and I had friends. It was such a huge production. Like this was the largest stage I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, this is the most expensive magic production in the world to this day, and it probably will be for a very long time.
Mm.
And so I needed help. I needed guys who could help me with this job. And so I brought in guys like Nathan Kranzo. I
Mm.
brought in guys like Greg Fruin. Joe brought in other guys. Like we brought in Lucas from Korea. Like we brought in some really fine talent to help us get to where we needed to go. And what was funny was in episode, I believe it was episode 8, Wayne Houchin was supposed to show up as part of the American team.
Yeah.
And there were some negotiation issues, and he didn't show up. And so we had an empty spot on the American team, and we had to shoot. Like we were 4 days out from production, and there was no stopping this. And so they said to Nathan, "Hey, you're American, you're on the team." And so we had to consult the entire week, and then on the last day, I now had to consult Nathan, get him camera ready, and then I had to change my clothes and I had to judge him. Hilarious, absolutely
But
hilarious.
Wayne Houchin eventually went on to the show, right?
He eventually did. He was on episodes 11 and 12, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it was incredible. It was absolutely fantastic. Like I say, waking up every day and being thrown into the mix. And I was not the only consultant. We had a Chinese team that was Joe's team that I was part of, and then there was an American team. There was actually very famous American consultants that were there. And so just to work with all of these guys to solve these problems, man, like I wish I could do that again. Like it was really one of the greatest exhilarating moments of my career.
Was that show for only one season or what?
It was one season, and then they were moving into a second season. And if you know anything about Fan Bingbing or any of what she went through, she had some tax issues with the government.
Oh, yes,
And so
yes.
she kind of had to be very quiet. Like I think there's a saying in Mandarin that says, "Tall trees catch wind," and so she was catching some wind, and so
Mm.
she had to go quiet for a couple of months, and that basically put the end to our second season, sadly.
I see. Yeah. So,
And look,
I
there's a
was
great question.
asking.
Hold on, there's a great question by Erdenays in the room. Is there any way that we can see these shows? And the answer is, yeah, baby. I have
YouTube.
all 12 episodes are in my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube account, then no, Kelvin, she did not go to camp. She stayed in her apartment. She's on my WeChat, bro. Trust me, she didn't go anywhere. She was laying low. Um, so if you go to YouTube, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have an entire playlist of all 12 episodes of Amazing Magician. So if you want to watch them, and they're about, each episode's about an hour and a half long, maybe a little more than that. And so like there was a lot of content, and it is in Chinese. So if you don't speak Mandarin, you're probably going to be lost. And what's funny is the way they edited. This is very cool. So I had a microphone coming out of one ear, and then I had an earpiece in my other ear. So take 2 fingers, put them in your ears, and start talking. And you're gonna see, like, man, it's hard to hear, it's hard to talk. Well, this is how I had to perform, basically. Like I had, like I say, a microphone, and I had an earpiece, and my earpiece was for real-time translation. So while everyone else on the panel was speaking Chinese, like it had to be translated to me like instantly so that I could reply in real time. And then the way that they edit it down, it looks like I speak fluent Mandarin, which is great because I do not. I wish I did, but I do not. And so if you watch the show, that's one of the things that I get from people a lot is, wow, your Mandarin's fantastic. And I'm like,
Editing.
you got fooled. But I'll
Actually,
tell you what, I
speaking.
did after the show, I did come home and I started
Mm,
taking lessons. I started taking some Mandarin lessons. And it's hard, man. It is, especially for a Westerner. Like the tones are very difficult, and so I have a lot of respect for anyone that can speak multiple languages, especially if it's Mandarin. Especially if it's Cantonese. My God, what is there, like 8 or 9 tones in Cantonese?
yeah, it's a lot.
It's very impressive. It's very impressive. But I realized that I needed to learn a little of the language so that when I do go back, I'm able to express myself in better ways. And I took about 6 months worth of lessons, and I don't have a huge vocabulary, but the vocabulary that I do have, I have okay pronunciation. I can yeah, I can order our meal at a restaurant. That's certainly one of the things that I learned. Like I have food vocabulary. That's the funny thing. Is
Because you're a foodie,
we
right?
can't we can't have a full on conversation about magic, but I can order food for you.
那你最喜欢吃的是什么食物？
mm, mm. You're going too fast for me, first off. And
No, I,
uh,
I was asking what's your favorite food? Can you like say it in Mandarin?
yeah, yeah. So 我喜欢烧烤，烧烤。
Oh, barbecue.
Mm-hmm. Mm. 我喜
Okay,
欢烧
okay.
烤 a lot. Like
A
that's,
lot.
I am a huge fan of the barbecue. I'm a huge fan of all of it.
Okay.
Man, you name it, I'll eat it. You
And you're
name it,
saying
I'll
you
eat it.
like Sichuan food, which is a little bit spicy? You like
Mm.
spicy food?
I do, I do. I find that, everyone thinks that Szechuan food is the spiciest, and
Mm.
I'd argue that Chongqing has spicier food.
Yes, Chongqing is
Um,
mala food, right?
yeah, very mala. But Chengdu has more of a flavor. Like it's a good flavor. It's more ma than la, basically. And
Mm.
so, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of tuto. Do you know about tuto?
Tuto, as in the peanut?
Nope. Nope. Spicy rabbit's head. Tuto.
Oh, tuto. Oh no. I heard of it, but I haven't tried it. I've
Mm.
seen like pictures of like mala tuto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. 非常好吃，非常好吃。
非常 I've got to
对。
try if I may. Just now, I think Carpenter was saying, any food in China as long as it's not bats.
Yeah, you know what? Even
Have
bats,
you
man. I'll eat it all, baby. I'll eat it
have
all.
you have you tried bats?
No. No, I've been to a ton of wet markets. I was not in Wuhan's wet market, but I was in tons of wet markets, and I was never offered bad. So, I mean, I've seen some stuff over there, but never bad. So,
So you've never seen bats being sold in the market?
no,
Okay. Aaron
no.
has a question. One trick for the rest of your life. Which one would it be?
Ooh, good question, Aaron. Good question. It would probably be something with Pulp Friction, right? I love Pulp Friction. I love the things that it can do. I'm kind of enamored with. I still am enamored with it. What's funny is all the things that I've created in the last 20 years have been just Pulp Friction, and so yeah, Pulp Friction is my answer. And
Speaking
bats
of,
are whack like crack. Look, guys, listen. I've never had the opportunity to eat bat, so relax. It's not happening. And what's funny is, people say to me from a food standpoint, like, man, China must be crazy. And the answer is, yeah, I mean, it's not any crazier than any other country. Japan is where things get insane. Like, for me, Japan is like when we talk about skiing terms, like there's, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Like, advanced is the Black Diamond ski resorts. Man, Japan is Black Diamond for me. Like you want to talk about eating some crazy stuff? That's where I have eaten probably the craziest of stuff, and it's wonderful. Man, I loved every second of it. But China, China's not as insane as most people want to believe it to be. They're relatively, what I love about China, especially like Cantonese cuisine, is that they're so innovative, right? For me, like Cantonese cuisine is very much like French cuisine. Like they've got 40 different ways to prepare a chicken. This is great. Like I love that. I love that idea. I love that concept. Like Dongbei. Dongbei has very interesting food. Like in the Northeast, Guizhou, which is the poorest of all the provinces. Man, I love anything Shuan, anything sour, like Shuan Tang Yu, like the sour fish soup.
Mm.
It's lihai, right? It's fantastic. It's amazing. And for me, that's where you really get to understand the culture because most people don't realize like Chinese food is medicine, right? It's the way
Yeah.
it's preventative medicine. It's the way that they eat certain foods and the balance of like when we order food in a restaurant in the West, it's like to our tastes, but in China it's about balance. And so
Mm.
just learning some of these ideas and learning these techniques and theories, I mean, has opened my eyes to an entire part of the world that it's fantastic, really fantastic.
We're
And
all getting
so,
hungry now.
yeah, of course, of course. I mean, I can. We haven't had any Chinese food in a few months, sadly.
Mm.
But some of my favorite restaurants, like I say, if you come to town and you're like, hey, what do you want to eat? My default always will be, let's go get some Shanghainese food. Let's get some xiaolongbao. Let's get some dumplings. Let's
Yeah.
eat. And it's really like I can't speak highly enough of the cuisine over there because that's the door to open up the rest of the culture and to understanding, how cool this is.
Very nice. You are. I can see that you are a foodie. I think we can be good friends. I'm a foodie as well. Do you cook? Do you cook well? Like, do you cook Chinese food? Do you cook?
I do. I do. No, someone just asked me Li Hai. Li Hai means amazing or awesome in Mandarin.
Li Hai is
Uh,
just his new name. Li Hai. Li Asher Li
Li Hai.
Hai. That
Yeah.
was a bad joke.
Only
I'm
on
sorry.
weekends, bro. No, no. Li Hai means. You know what, Kelvin? I've been to Singapore. I've been to the Spore, buddy. Trust me. I've eaten the food. It's fantastic. Like in Malaysia, like nasi lemak. Spectacular. Now, to be fair, I do prefer Singaporean food to Malaysian food. I'm not talking shit about any Malaysian food. I will eat that too. But if I had a preference, it would be on the Singaporean side of the island. Um, yeah, it's. I forgot. I lost my place because I'm thinking about food right now. But I do actually eat. I do cook a lot in the house. When the opportunity is provided to me, one of the things that I like to cook is like hot pot, hogo. And so like we'll make like we have a nabe if we want to make like a Japanese or a Korean
Mm.
um what am I looking
Hot pot.
for?
Hot pot.
Swish. No, it's what's the word though? It's shabu shabu.
Shabu shabu.
But
Yes.
but but if I have my choice, it's Chinese hot pot. The spicy, like really really spicy not Shanghai, excuse me,
Chinese hot
Chengdu
pot.
style hot pot. Yeah,
火锅.
Szechuan style hot pot.
It's a 火锅, right?
火锅.
Yeah.
对.
Mm.
I love that, man. Like Heidi Lao. Raise your hand if you've been to a Heidi Lao. Anyone in the room? Oh yeah.
The
Oh
service is
man.
crazy. They recently came to Singapore like a few years ago. The service is crazy good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
One of the things I try to explain to people about service in the East versus the West is in the West, we have to see it, right? We have to see it to believe that it's worth. Like you go to a very famous, expensive steakhouse in the West, and you're going to see beautiful wood and, copper piping and like just, you're going to see the wealth. But in China, it's not about seeing the wealth, it's about feeling it.
Mm.
And Heidi Lau's service, this is a $15 meal, man, and it's the best service in the world. The
It's
world.
insane.
Like,
It's insane.
if you've never been to China, you must go. And if you've never been to China and eaten at a Heidi Lao, you must go. It's impressive. It's really impressive. And my first experience with Heidi Lao was in Shanghai, and they did it up, man. They had the guy come in that did all the karate noodles, the kung fu noodle. And what I mean by that is there's actually a guy that comes in like a jumpsuit, and he's got a ball of dough, and he starts,
Wow.
doing this, and he starts stretching the dough and then like doing kung fu moves with the dough and flipping it around and spinning it and then breaking pieces off and throwing it in the air, and it lands inside the hot pot.
It's
Show and meal, man, for $15. Literally,
noodle
the service
cutlery
is
with noodles.
fantastic. Yeah,
It's cutlery
absolutely
with noodles.
fantastic. So these are the kinds of experiences. These are the kinds of experiences that I adore and I hunt for and I look for when I travel the world, because these are the kinds of experiences that let me understand the culture a little better and understand who I'm sitting with and why we're having these. Look, we all enjoy magic, and that's certainly the door that gets me in. But there's a lot more, to life than just magic. And so to be able to share a meal in someone's town is so important, on so many different levels, not just the food level, And so if I can suggest to any of the magicians watching, if you get the opportunity to travel to a foreign land, don't eat McDonald's, man. Don't eat don't eat stuff that you normally you can eat at home, because that's not
Yeah,
helping anybody. Go with the locals, ask them where they want to eat, and have them order for you.
yeah.
And look, there's plenty of stuff that I'll eat that I don't like, right? I'm not a fan of neishang. I'm not a fan of like the
Oh, the
kidney or the
innards.
heart or
Yeah.
any of the innards, right? But I'll eat it if I have to, and I'm totally cool. I'm totally cool to taste anything, but I don't have to like it. Like that's the agreement. It's like I'll taste anything, but I don't have to like it. And if I don't like it, I just won't eat it. But if I like it, well, then now I'm gaining new experience, right? And
You need
so
to try the
there are
braised
so many.
innards.
I'm sorry.
The braised innards. Oh, that's like super awesome.
Yeah, I
Delicious.
mean, yeah, like I'm getting to experience something that I would have never experienced, and
Mm.
it's silly for me to kind of poo-poo it before it happens. Let it happen, and then I can shit on it. But until then, like I want to try it, and I want to taste it, and I want to eat it, I want to drink everything, I want to eat everything, I want to experience as much as I can, because that helps me later on in life.
I think that
That
helps
helps
with
me.
creativity and helps with the being openness to change, open to try a lot of things. That helps a
That's
lot
right.
with the creativity and learning new things. Yeah.
Absolutely. That helps with our magic. Michael Skinner, God rest his soul, that guy was absolutely one of the most amazing dudes I ever knew. Michael Skinner used to do this beautiful thing where he would work at this restaurant, Lily Langtree, downtown at the Golden Nugget. And he would walk up to a table and he'd have a conversation with you for about 15 minutes before you even realized he was a magician. And he would ask you, like, hey, Benny, where are you from? Oh, you're from Singapore. Really? Have you ever been to the Merlion? There's this great restaurant near the Merlion where
Ah,
they serve durian. And again, this isn't necessarily what he would specifically say, but what he would do is he would kind of focus in on you and where you're from. And because he's been there, he's going to share his experiences with you. And you're like, all of a sudden now, you're buddies. And you're open to the idea that he's now going to perform some magic. Instead of saying, hey guys, want to see some magic? No.
mm,
Now he's not a magician. He's just this really interesting, intriguing, compelling guy that's standing here having a conversation with you, making sure that everything's good. And now magic? It's like magic is the bonus. And so
mm.
I've always thought that kind of approach was smart. But if you're going to do that kind of approach, then you have got to go travel the world. You've got to
That's
get those
true.
experiences
That's true.
so that you can have those conversations.
Mm.
And I see guys are saying to me, have I ever had any Lebanese food or Indian food? And the answer is, of course, guys. Of course. Now, I personally have never been to Lebanon. I've gotten close. I've been very close to Lebanon, but I've never been to India. And I can't wait to go because, just like China, I'm going to go. I'm going to hang out with locals. They're going to take me to the food that they like to eat, and that's how I'm going to learn. And it's going to get me that much closer. Oh, hell yeah. Indian street food? Let me tell you right
Yeah.
now. Street food is where it's at.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially Indian street food, like chat. I love chat. I love like pani puris. Man, I mean, I could go on all day, man. Like I love food. I really do. I really do.
Yeah.
And
I think we
again,
talk
it's
more about food than magic
food.
already.
It's the great equalizer, right? Everyone has to eat, whether you're rich or you're poor.
Yeah.
Everyone has to have some kind of sustenance and meal. So it's something that we share on a very primal level every single day of the year. And so to be able to do that, to be able to share, to break bread with someone and to understand them from their like the base level of food is, like it doesn't get any more interesting. And so, like that's what I'm saying is like if you understand culture, if you understand the food a little better, that makes your magic that much stronger. And so, like, man, you're telling me that if I eat more, my magic will get better? And the answer is yeah, actually, in a very weird roundabout way, correct. And now I see Kunstler saying the best pani puri in your area, bro, I'm coming. Send me your address, I will be there.
But Indian food is spicy as well, but not the kind of
Yeah?
like a mala kind of spice, but it's like
No.
the strong flavors, the strong smell and
It's
everything.
more la than ma. Like
Yeah.
mala's like the only place you get mala is basically China. Like the only place you face when guys, for those that don't understand when we say ma la, it's two words. Ma means numb, la means spicy, and so it's a spicy numb. And it's crazy. I mean, if you've never had it before, when you eat like a Szechuan style hot pot, your mouth goes numb. It's crazy. It's awesome. I love it. And it's a green ash pepper that does that. But Indian food is definitely it's a different chili. It's a different
Yeah.
spice, like a fall. man, that's some of the hottest food I've ever eaten. And it's great. I mean, I'm a fan of hot. I will certainly eat hot, but I don't go out of my way to eat the hottest thing possible because, I think at a certain point past hot, now there's no flavor, and so now
Mm.
it's kind of like a gimmick.
So you're not
Um,
the kind that would try the spicy buffalo wings until the what max level kind of thing.
probably not. Probably not. I mean, I like spicy buffalo wings, but I don't need to have the Armageddon sauce because that's
Mm-hmm.
only going to give me a stomach ache later. And why?
True,
You
I
know.
agree. Yeah. Okay. Let's see
All right.
what
So
other
next
questions.
question.
What would be your legacy, and how do you feel about it? I'm not sure I get this question. Do you understand the question?
I mean, I could take a stab at it.
Okay.
My legacy. I assume my legacy would be a guy that creates different card techniques for the masses. And I think that's great, and I'll continue to do that, and I'll aid anyone in any way to learn the material and to get better. Um, how would I change it? I don't know. Let me win the lottery, and I'll tell you how I change it.
Aaron is
I don't
saying,
know. I don't know how to answer the second part of that question, but the first part of the question is that I'd like to leave, my legacy of creating material that works in high pressure situations that won't fail you. Like I assume that would be my legacy. I have, I guess, a playing card legacy,
oh,
and the idea that trying to get more people to embrace the idea of collecting and appreciating the history and lineage of playing cards, including the modern, the vintage, and the antique. Um, Part of my legacy is blending these worlds together. The magic world and the playing card world are kind of two different worlds, but they're slowly starting to converge on each other, which is great. That'll only help both of us. So, I mean, I assume these are the answers to that question of what is my legacy. But how I would change it, other than a flux of $10 million, I don't know what would change, right? And even if I won the lottery, I'd still do what I do, right? I love what I do. So regardless of any financial gain, I'm not going to change what I do.
okay. I think we have talked briefly about Jerry's. There is a question here that what's the history behind the most treasured deck of cards? I think you've answered that. Is there anything interesting that not many people may know about Jerry's that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, Jerry's isn't my most treasured deck of cards. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
certainly on my list, but it's not my most treasured deck of cards. Believe it or not, I mean, I did an
So
interview
what's
not too long
yeah?
with
What's
with
your most
Ender's
treasured?
Game, and I talked about this. A lot of people ask me like, "Hey, what's the most valuable deck in your collection?" And one of the things I like to tell people is, are we talking about like monetary value or sentimental value? Because
Mm-hmm.
for me, the most treasured deck in my collection, you could probably buy for like $5 on eBay, right? So it doesn't have a very high monetary value, but it has an incredibly high sentimental value for me, and that is my first European deck of cards. The first time I was introduced to a different kind of stock, right?
Wow.
Because when I grew up, everything was bicycle, tally ho, maybe some Hoyle, and that was about it, and any of the brands within those. But I'm from Florida, so there was a lot of Spanish, right? In Florida, there was a lot of like Spanish influence. But Fournier was not the first European deck that I ever played with. My first European deck I ever played with was a Piatnik deck, a deck made in Austria, and it was a bridge-sized deck, and it came with the book, the Klutz card tricks Klutz Book of Magic. And the tricks in there weren't anything special. I mean, it was a card book, but it came with this bridge-sized deck. And bridge-sized cards for me. I mean, I play. I've always held poker size, so I was kind of turned off a little bit. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment I put those cards in my hand, and the moment that I felt this thick stock and these beautifully varnished cards, I was like, "What is this? Why do our American made cards feel so cheap?" Right? And this is the thought process, like a 13-year-old thinking this way. And not too long after that is when I found packs of Fournier cards, because again, a heavy Spanish influence in the state of Florida where I'm from. So it was not. Look, if you're from Minnesota, you're probably gonna have a very hard time going into a store and buying a deck of Fournier cards. But in Florida, not so hard at all. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like I said, not too long after I found that European deck, I started to find other European decks. And so again, if you're gonna ask me, like One of the decks that I have sitting on my shelf in a carrot case is a $5 Klutz Book of Magic Piatnik deck. And again, it has no value when it comes to monetary, but it has nothing but my love when it comes to sentimental value. So I think that that's an important distinction you have to ask yourself: is are you doing this for money, or are you doing this for love?
Mm.
And if it's for money, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with speculating. Like, we need speculation in the industry. That's part of our industry. But the sentimental part of it, like there's so much more there, right? There's just so much more for me to care about. Like, money's money. But like my first European deck, I'll never sell that. I'll never trade it. You'll never get it from me. And
Are they still
so,
printing the decks now? Piatnik?
yeah, Piatnik is still, I believe Piatnik still prints. That's a great question. Whether Cardamundi, I don't think Cardamundi owns them. Maybe they do. I don't think so. I think Piatnik and ASS came together. It's funny, there was a manufacturer called ASS.
ASS.
ASS, I think, merged with Piatnik many years ago. I do think Piatnik still produces decks. I do, and they're very beautiful, and they're very thick, and they're very, like, you're gonna have to break them in. They're gonna take you time, but like, this was my first introduction, and I have to leave the party with the one that brought me, right? Like, it's a real love for that deck. So
I've never seen
you'll
the
come to
deck.
my
I've
house,
never
and
played with it. Like, how does it look like? Do you have it with you now, or it's upstairs?
it's upstairs. I'd have to go grab it, but it just looks like a very classical antique deck. It's got scroll. It's like a very filigreed style deck. It's
Okay.
bridge size. The faces of the royals have like a tone, the same way that the Fournier has. Yeah, man.
I think
Was it?
Carpenter says
Yeah.
that
Parapon
there
thinks
is
that
one.
ASS printed for Jabrizi. Man, listen. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. And I love that we can make fun of Jabrizi, but the honest truth is that this guy, he loves what we love. He's part of our group, and we can hate him because he's our guy to hate, but the truth is that we shouldn't. We need to give him space. He's an artist just like the rest of us. You don't like what he does? Okay, don't watch him. But we cannot neglect that he has access to all the tools that we have access to, and he is trying. Here's the thing, man. Like, when David Blaine first came out, there was a whole group of people that hated, oh, David Blaine, he only does magic from the magic shop. Okay, but what we've neglected to talk about is all of the thousands upon thousands of people that he got interested in magic. And so I can make the same argument for Jabrizi. There's plenty of people that see Jabrizi and go, wow, magic, this is cool. Now, maybe once they get into it a little further, they'll understand that maybe Jabrizi isn't the best source to learn magic from. This is true. But we cannot neglect the fact that he's bringing people into our fold. It's the same way. It's the same way Chris Ramsey, right? Like, there's a distinct group of people that don't like what Chris Ramsey does. And again, I can make the same argument. Like, look, love him or hate him, this guy's bringing people into our fold, and we can't hate him for that. We can only appreciate that. We can applaud that. We can think that that's really important for us, because, again, power in numbers, guys. And so, it's very easy to dump on Jabrizi. Hey, that rhymed. But the truth of the matter is that, like, I want to give the guy as much room as anybody else, because in time, you never know what's going to happen. And clearly he loves it. I mean, he loves it enough to post up rap videos about it, right? Like, so, like, yeah, man. Like, I personally am not a fan of the technique, but I am a fan of him trying, and him, like, we should be an inclusive group, not an exclusive group. Anyone that's trying to be exclusive in here is missing the point, right? We're already exclusive by nature. Not everyone in the world is a magician. So the ones that show up and say they're magicians, okay, that's cool. Sure, there are hierarchies, there are different hierarchies, but the fact that you've shown up gives you the rite of passage to come on in. And so I hear you, Harapon. I know you love him, we all love him, and he's easy to make fun of. But the truth of the matter is like I say, give the guy some space, and you never know what'll happen.
Yep. I love trolling. Say, is this Carvolution or Sig? My name is Ben. Some of you may know me as Sig is my name on Instagram. I help out Carvolution in the social media part sometimes. So this is more like a weekly kind of show where you see me interact with famous people, some not very famous but interesting people. I try to get Cardis,
Certainly,
magicians,
certainly not
actors.
famous. Certainly not
Nope,
famous.
nope. Page breezy videos. Let's see what else. We are almost ending the second hour. Do you want to pick a question that actually shout out to you? A good question that we can do the giveaway.
Okay. Real quick to
Of what
answer
is
the
your
question
favorite?
about the Pulp Fiction book, it's coming, man. I've been working on it forever. It's coming. I'm lazy. I'm a horrible writer, so it's I painstakingly go over every single word. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. So eventually it will come. I'm through a first rough draft, and actually I've been in layout. I've taken about 250 pictures, and I'm just trying to match text with imagery. And yeah, it'll come. Here's the deal, guys. Good things come to those who wait.
How long? How
That's
long
the
have you
best
been
thing
working
I
on
can
the book
tell you.
already? How long have you
20
been working?
years? 20, yeah, I've been, it started as a DVD, or started as a video, and then moved to DVD, and I shot some stuff with the Bucks many years ago, except we shot it in high 8, not in HD, and so, like there's, like I was so slow to certain things that formats changed underneath me. And so I didn't want to release something that wasn't, so it turned into a book.
Mm.
But trust me, when it comes, you'll be very happy. You'll be very happy. But until then, give me some space, guys. Give me some space.
The more you ask, the slower the book will come because he needs to
That's
reply.
right.
It's coming. It's
That's
coming.
right. Book?
Which book?
Jennings Takes It Easy will be coming first. Only because that's probably done, right? That's done. I think that the problem with Jennings Takes It Easy is he didn't have any drawings. He just had 5,000 photos. So I don't have that problem. I only have 250 photos to deal with. And also, Richard literally is an author, man. I am a dude who does card tricks, okay? So give me a break. But it's coming. I swear to God, guys, it's coming.
Yep. So you guys can actually look out for that book when it comes. I think it will be on your Instagram, right? If you are not already following Lee Escher, you can
If
follow Lee Escher
Instagram
Magic.
it's still around by the time it comes out, right? Like I was prepared to put this on MySpace, and that wasn't a smart move. So
Yeah, MySpace. Oh, the old times. Yep.
all right, so
So
what you wanted to ask me a question that was going to win someone a prize? Is that what we were
yeah.
about to do?
So we were answering a few questions just now, right? Which question actually uh called out to you like, oh, that's a good question, made you think, or something that is interesting, that because we are actually doing like a giveaway for a deck of Jerry's Nuggets cards.
That's right. That's right. That's right. How about the question about uh, my legacy? That was an interesting one because it took me a minute to try to understand what you were asking me. So I think out of all the questions, that was the one I had to think hardest for.
Okay, so the legacy one, can I still pull it up? Okay, this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a are your aesthetics are you aesthetic, if you are watching, if you are still here or you're watching later, drop us a DM and then we'll send you the playing card.
Jerry's Nugget. Jerry's Nugget.
Jerry, do you have any more interesting stories about Jerry's? Because
Um, I mean, they're in their, what are they, in their 50th, I think they're in their
doing already
50th, yeah, they're in 50th
70.
anniversary.
Wow, yes.
64, I think is when they first opened. And so are they just past their 50? I don't know. Like here's the thing, man. There's so much information out there that you guys can find. There's not a lot of data that I have that you don't have. Um, like yeah, there's plenty that you can go Google, but I don't think that I have any magical information that you don't have. I mean, maybe I do, but I'm not aware that I do.
Hmm.
Uh,
Actually, this question is interesting because you just got onto the social media bandwagon, right? Do you think social media
well, no,
magic
wait a
will
minute,
be?
wait a minute. I've got into the Instagram bad. Remember, I've been on
Oh,
Twitter forever. I've got tens of thousands
that's
of
true.
followers on Twitter.
That's true. That's
So
true.
it's Instagram, not social media,
Instagram,
but Instagram.
Instagram.
And I also want to believe that I was one of the first foreigners to be on WeChat. Like I was on WeChat in 2011. And so I think it was me and Leonard Green were the only two. And then I think Helder came on board not too long after that. So I've been a proponent of socials. It's just that Instagram has been, you know, I was slow to the game for Instagram.
Hmm. Do you
So
think
do I
it'll be?
think social media will be more common during and after the Corona outbreak? Yeah, of course, of course. I think it's a wonderful way to connect, right? Like all of our magic, we've been trying for centuries to just engage our audiences more, and so here's an opportunity for us to be piped into everyone's home, right? So I think that yeah, I think that there will be more of it. Um, hey, Aaron, thanks for coming. So I think that yeah, we're going to see a lot more, and I think that there's going to be a lot of innovation happening. I do have a TikTok, Kelvin. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've already
Oh.
got a TikTok. Way, baby. You know
Oh,
what's
you got a
funny?
TikTok?
I have spent time on TikTok. I've like laugh out loud, man. There's some very fun stuff on TikTok. So I was not against social media. I don't want anyone to believe that that was the case. I just didn't have enough time in my day, because it's a content machine, and so you have to constantly feed it. And if you don't feed it, then I'm not doing any renegade dances, bro. Sorry, that is not happening. Um,
What is your
but
TikTok? Maybe we can get people to follow your TikTok.
It's Lee Asher Magic. It's Lee
It's the
Asher. I
same
have like
one?
5 followers. Yeah, it's
Okay.
the same as my Instagram.
It's gonna be at least 50 by tonight. Okay, guys, if you are
Maybe.
here and you are watching and you're into TikTok, just follow Lee Asher Magic. I think Cyril just joined TikTok as well. Cyril Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting about TikTok that I don't think anyone said out loud yet is that it is the true universal social media, right? Because if you think about Facebook, you think about Instagram, you think about Twitter, people in China have to go through a firewall to go see any of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And so those really aren't universal. But TikTok, I mean, it's Chinese made. So you have China, you have the West, you have everyone basically playing on this platform. And I do know that like the Chinese TikTok is a different download than let's say like, the Western TikTok. But I think eventually that might merge. And what we're seeing, like I say, is a universal social, which is very cool. And so I mean, again, I'm not against any of these socials. It's just a matter of choosing the one that you like and that you have enough time to play with.
Actually, I'm also new to this TikTok thing. Is the Chinese TikTok is called Douyin, is it? Douyin, right?
No, it's TikTok. That wing is another kind of platform.
Ah, okay. I
And
thought
they
there
also
was
have
a.
Bilibili. That's another kind of platform. Yeah, there's a handful. There's a handful.
Okay. Yeah. So Harapan says you're the next TikTok star. Already followed. See, you have another new follower.
5 followers, guys. Hey, if you're not following my Instagram, go ahead and make sure you get on my Insta.
Yeah, maybe I'll just oh yeah, sure.
And what I want to do is I want to take like a hoodie and a pair of sweatpants and I want to flip them upside down because my wife works upstairs and I want to do that
Mm.
and like ruin work. You know what I'm talking
Yeah, so
about?
I spelled it correct, right? So if you're not following already, Liesha Magic, getting more followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Your Facebook is do you have a Facebook page?
No,
Not,
no Facebook. Sorry, guys.
just okay. I've got the cardio
No
account.
Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are left with the last a minute and a half as well. I think you have given us enough of your time. Very generous of you. We'll
My
probably
pleasure,
do it.
guys.
Yeah, we'll probably do it again sometime. Hope you enjoyed these 2 hours. We got a lot of insight to your magic, your thinking, your playing cards, and your experience, your knowledge. So thank you once again. We are down to 1 minute. Do you have anything to plug? Any new things coming out that you want to let people know?
2 plus Joker. I mean, I got nothing coming up, man. We're in COVID. There's literally nothing going on. No, that's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, I have go to 52plusjoker.com if you like playing card collecting, become part of the club. I'm doing another interview tomorrow, I think, with Collected Deck. So if you guys want to, and those guys actually asked me to prepare a couple of pieces to perform. So if you want to see we didn't get to perform anything today, but if you want to see some magic tomorrow, 9 p.m. my time. So that 9 p.m. on, let's say, New York time. That's the easiest way to describe it.
So it's 9 a.m.
Um,
Singapore time.
Yeah. 12-hour flip for you. So yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I've been
Is it
working
on
on.
Instagram? Is it on Instagram?
Yep,
We'll have to
it'll be
get
on
that in.
It'll be on Twitch. It'll be on YouTube. Sorry, I don't think it'll be on Insta.